Hello, my great students and listeners at home. Welcome to Teaching Online from St. Charles College, Onitsha. My name is Okolonji Ikechukwu from Mathematics Department. Our topic today is on plane shapes, properties of square and rectangles, and calculations that involves both shapes. Before we go into the details of our today's lesson, first, let us look at the specific objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students should be able to 1. State at least 4 properties of square and rectangle each. 2. Differentiate between square and rectangle. 3. State at least 3 similarities between square and rectangle. 4. Calculate the area of rectangle and square. 5. Calculate the perimeter of rectangle and square. Now, let's go into the lesson proper. A square. What is a square? A square is a shape in which all its 4 sides are equal and its angles are equal to 90 degrees each. Properties of a square. First of all, what do you understand by properties? Properties are those things you possess. What are the properties of a square? 1. A square has all the 4 sides equal. 2. All the angles are right angle, that is 90 degrees. 3. The pairs of opposite sides are parallel. 4. The sum of angle in a square is 360 degrees. 5. The diagonal bisects each other at right angles. 6. The diagonals bisect the angles. 7. It has 4 lines of symmetry. Rectangle. What do you understand by rectangle? A rectangle is a shape in which 2 opposite sides are equal and its angles are equal to 90 degrees each. Properties of a rectangle are 1. A rectangle has 4 sides. 2. The 2 opposite sides are equal in length. 3. All the angles are right angles, that is 90 degrees. 4. The pairs of opposite sides are parallel. 5. The sum of angle in a rectangle is 360 degrees. 6. The diagonals are equal and they bisect each other, that is, divide each other into 2 equal parts. 7. It has 2 lines of symmetry. Let us look into the similarities between square and rectangle. 1. They both have 4 sides and 4 angles. 2. They both have equal diagonals. 3. They both have equal angles. 4. The diagonals bisect each other. 5. The sum of their angles are 360 degrees. Let us also look at the differences between square and rectangle. In a square, all the 4 sizes are equal, while in rectangle, 2 opposite sides are equal. In a square, the diagonal of a square bisects at right angle, while they do not in rectangle. A square has 4 lines of symmetry, while a rectangle has 2 lines of symmetry. Now, let us look into the areas of a square. First of all, you can see the shape of the square in your screen there. What do you find out? In a square, all the 4 sizes are equal. So in finding the area of a square, the area of a square is equals to length of sides raised to power 2, or you say length raised to power 2. Also, you might be asked to find the length of sides of a square. The formula for finding the length of sides of a square is equals to square root of area of a square. These are the formula for finding area of a square and length of side of a square. We'll now go into the calculations. Example 1. Calculate the area of a square advertising board of length 5 meters. Students, let's go into the solution. First, area of a square is equals to length of sides raised to power 2. There are some mistakes students normally do. In mathematics, before you go into solving problem in mathematics, you have to state the formula down, not rushing to substitute the problem and having the answer. Now let's go into the working proper. Area of a square is equals to length of sides raised to power 2. In the question, you can find out that the length is equals to 5 meters there. Substituting it into its proper form, you have area of a square is equals to 5 meters raised to power 2, which will give you 5 meters times 5 meters, which will give you 25 meters raised to power 2. So the area of a square in this very solution is equals to 25 meters raised to power 2. The second question, the area of a square plot is 144 meters square. Calculate the length of the sides of the plot. Solution. You can see, first of all, I state my formula down. Length of sides is equals to area of a square. Now in the question, area of a square is given to you to be 144 meters square. Substituting it into its proper form, you have length of sides equals to square root of 144 meters square, which will give you length of sides equals to 12 meters. Now we'll go into area of a rectangle. Now before we go into the area of a rectangle, first of all, we have to state the formula down. Stating the formula down, you can see the shape of a rectangle on your screen there. Now in a rectangle, we have length, we have breadth. So for you to find the area of a rectangle, formula for finding area of a rectangle is equals to length times breadth. Also, you might be asked to find the length of a rectangle. Formula for finding length of rectangle is equals to area of a rectangle divided by breadth of a rectangle. You might also be asked to find the breadth of a rectangle. The formula for finding the breadth of a rectangle is equals to area of rectangle divided by length of rectangle. These are the formula for finding area of a rectangle, length of a rectangle, breadth of a rectangle. Now let's go into the calculation proper. Example 1. Calculate the area of a rectangle 6 centimeters by 3.5 centimeters. Solution. You can see, first of all, I state my formula down. Area of rectangle is equals to length times breadth. In the equation, length is given to you to be 6 centimeters. Breadth is given to you to be 3.5 centimeters. Substituting it into its proper form, you have area of a rectangle is equals to 6 centimeters times 3.5 centimeters, which will give you 21 centimeters square. So the area of a rectangle is equals to 21 centimeters square. We've done with that. So we'll move to the second question, which says the area of a rectangle is the area of a rectangle is 224 centimeters square. If the length is 16 centimeters, calculate the breadth. Now you can see that before I start, I state my formula down. Breadth of a rectangle is equal to area of a rectangle divided by length of rectangle. In the question, area of a rectangle is given to you to be 224 centimeters square. The length also is given to you to be what? 16 centimeters. Substituting it, you have breadth is equal to 244 centimeters square divided by 6 centimeters. What do you understand there? You can find out that centimeters will cancel centimeters and you're left with 1 centimeters. So the breadth of a rectangle there is equal to 14 centimeters. So let's look into the third question, which is the area of a rectangle is 24 centimeters square and one side is 6 centimeters in breadth. Find its length. Solution. Length of side is equal to area of rectangle divided by breadth. Area is given to you to be 24 centimeters square. Breadth is given to you to be 6 meters. Substituting it into its proper form, we have length of side equals to 24 centimeters square divided by 6 centimeters square, which will give you length of side equals to 4 centimeters. Now we are going to look into another topic, which is perimeter of square and rectangle. First of all, let's define what a perimeter is. A perimeter is a measure of the length of the line which encloses a shape. What do you understand by that? For you to find a perimeter of any shape, first of all, you measure the lines. After measuring the line, you add them together. It will give you the perimeter of that shape. Perimeter of a square. The perimeter of a square can be found simply by multiplying one side by 4. That is length of side times 4. Since all the 4 sizes of a square are equal, we have perimeter of a square is equal to length times 4, which will give you 4 length. This is the formula for finding perimeter of a square. 4 length. Also, you might be asked to find the length of side of a square. Formula for finding the length of side of a square is length of side of a square is equal to perimeter of a square divided by 4. So, examples. Example 1. Calculate the perimeter of a square of size 14 centimeters. Now, in a square, all the 4 sizes are equal. If you are given one side of a square, it means you've been given all the sides. So first of all, before solving this, I have to state my formula down, which is perimeter of a square is equal to 4 length. And in the question, length is given to you to be 14 centimeters. Perimeter of a square is equal to 4 times 14 centimeters, which will give you 56 centimeters. That is the solution for this number 1 question. Now, we are going to move into the second question. The second question, a square lawn has a perimeter of 56 meters. Find the length of sides of the lawn. Now, in this very problem, you can find out that the length, you're asked to find the length, and it is only the area of the perimeter that is given to you. Now, substituting it into its proper form, you have length of sides equals to perimeter of square divided by 4. Now, the perimeter there is 56 meters divided by 4, which your answer will give you 14 meters. Now we are going to look into perimeter of a rectangle. Now, before we go into finding the formula for finding perimeter of a rectangle, let's look at the shape. Now, in your screen there, you can see the shape of a rectangle. We have length, we have breadth, we have length, we have breadth. So we have two lengths, two breadth. Now, trying to find the formula of the rectangle, we have perimeter of a rectangle is equals to length plus breadth plus length plus breadth. Putting it into bracket form, we have perimeter of a rectangle is equals to 2 bracket open length plus breadth bracket close. Also, you might be asked to find the length of a rectangle. The formula for finding the length of a rectangle is equal to perimeter of a rectangle divided by 2 minus breadth. Also, you might be asked to find the breadth of a rectangle. Formula for finding breadth of a rectangle is equal to perimeter of a rectangle divided by 2 minus length. Having stated the formula for finding perimeter, length, and breadth, now let's go into solving calculations that involves the shape. Example 1. Calculate the perimeter of a football field which measures 80 meters by 50 meters. Solution. First of all, I state my formula down. Perimeter of a field is equals to 2 bracket open length plus breadth bracket close. In the question, you can find out that the length is given to you to be 80 meters. Breadth is given to you to be 50 meters. Substituting it into its proper form, we have perimeter of the field is equals to 2 bracket open 80 meters plus 50 meters bracket close, which will give you 2 times 130 meters, which will give you 260 meters as the answer. Now let's look into example 2. A rectangle has a perimeter of 74 meters. Find A, the length of the rectangle if its breadth is 17 meters. B, the breadth of the rectangle if its length is 25 meters. Solution. First of all, stating your formula down. The breadth of a rectangle is equals to perimeter of a rectangle divided by 2 minus length. You can find out that in the equation, the perimeter of a rectangle is given to you to be 47 meters, and the breadth and the length is given to you to be 25 meters. Substituting it into its proper form, you have breadth is equals to 74 meters divided by 2 minus 25 meters, which will give you 37 meters minus 25 meters, which will give you 12 meters. So the breadth of a rectangle is equals to 12 meters. My dear students, we've come to the end of our lesson. You can also remember that I gave you the definition of a square, a rectangle, and also we find the formula for finding area of a rectangle and square. Also, I gave you the definition of perimeter and formula for finding perimeter. So now we are going to look at the evaluation. So the evaluation will determine whether you really understand what we did. 1. Draw a rectangle which has the following sides. A, 3 centimeters and 4 centimeters. B, 5 centimeters and 7.5 centimeters. Number 2. Measure each of the diagonals of the rectangle drawn in question 1 to the nearest centimeters. What did you notice? Number 3 question. Draw a square of size 6 centimeters and measure the diagonal to the nearest centimeters. What do you notice? Number 4 question. State at least 4 properties of square and rectangle. 5. List 3 differences between a square and rectangle. 6. Calculate the area of a rectangle whose length and breadth are 13 centimeters and 7 centimeters. 7. The area of a rectangle is 288 meters square. If its length is 48 meters, calculate the breadth. 8. The area of a square field is 729 meters square. Find the length of each side. Number 9. A football field in form of a rectangle measures 90 meters in length and 60 meters in breadth. Calculate the perimeter of the field. Number 10. A school assembly ground in form of a square has its perimeter as 56 meters. Find the length of one side of the square. My dear students, you can see after solving all these questions, you can send it to me at this number you're seeing on your screen, 08063975469. That is my WhatsApp number. And also, I urge you to extend your researches. Don't just depend on those questions I gave you on the evaluation. Consult many textbooks. Solve all the questions that involve square, rectangle, and perimeters. If you have any difficulty, please send to this number on your screen. Thank you, and God bless you.